The first piece of good news that we've heard related to Marvel's Blade is the fact that the film is gonna be cheap, with an estimated budget of 50 to 70 million and absolutely nothing more. Okay, before we get to why this is good, let's talk for a second about Blade. He's a vampire. Most of it needs to take place in the dark, it needs to take place in dingy locations, and it needs to look like it fits the aesthetic and the themes of vampires. Therefore, you automatically remove him from the overuse of CG, and you probably go shoot somewhere in Eastern Europe, or somewhere in Europe in general. I would obviously say Prague, because it's dirt cheap and it can stand in for any town in Europe, which is exactly what Hollywood does. So you already got that taken care of and set away, plus incentives for if you shoot there. So recent reports have surfaced that Marvel Studios is looking to spend 50 to 70 million tops, and that they're pushing for an hard R rating. And we already know that they're going for an R rating, as that's been confirmed. Now, let's say they spend 70 million. This is exactly what you need. I would honestly, if I was Disney, say 50 million is the top. You cannot spend any more. We're not giving you any more. Work with 50 million. And the reason you need this is because it's going to restrict them to be more creative, to know to shoot and to work around their limitations and pull off something special. AKA Deadpool 1. AKA Dread, for example, right? You are far more restricted, and you need to make sure that everything else about it is good, because you can't just go, we'll fix it in post, don't worry, we'll go back to this, or we'll redo it all with CG. No, you gotta be right out the gate, knowing exactly what you need to do, and do it. And this is how Blade 1 and 2 were made. The budget of Blade 1 back in '97 was 45 million. Blade 2 was 55 and Blade 3 was 65. Again, think about this for a second. Look at the Underworld films. Those had dirt cheap production budgets, but you're working in a confined environment with many restrictions, and that is used to your strength. So if this turns out to be true, and Marvel and Disney are like, look, you're restricted to 70 tops, I really hope they stick with this. Because that means that there's going to be very little course correction, and they got to get everything down to a T as they shoot it. Not the typical Marvel Studios has 8 weeks to finish the film, and they go, all right, everybody, let's change the entire third act, reshuffle the first act, and don't worry, we'll fix it with cheap CG that looks like it's worthy on the CW. Yeah, because that's worked. It hasn't. That's sarcasm.